welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be a name video, which if you followed me for a long time, you know I love names. I have so many baby name videos up by now over the years, and I have talked about sort of like my top names as well as names that I was considering to name my children, as well as names that I love but hate and didn't want to name my children. So today I thought I would go ahead and tell you why I chose my children's names, the symbolism behind it, also the meaning of their names. I don't think I ever properly talked about, I think especially Leia's name. Also, I may seem a little winded in this video. It has been a little bit rough going with the dry air and winter, the viruses going around. I just have kind of like a constant weird sounding voice and kind of like short of breath for the past week or so. So anyways, let's go ahead and start with my firstborn, Miss Olivia Willow. She is my firstborn daughter. So the story goes with Olivia, I had planned on naming my firstborn, before she was born. Like with my other two, you guys know that we waited actually until the birth, which I do prefer. With my first, I was just so excited and too impatient. Like I even wanted to wait to find out the gender, but I just couldn't. Like I was just like, this is the first time. I'm too excited to go shopping. I'm just too excited to have it all ready. You know what I mean? So I definitely had a name chosen for her for a very long time, which she didn't end up being named that, but then I was basically just going over some names with my husband, and Olivia came up and he was saying he really liked it. I knew she was going to have a middle name that was going to be a nature name, and I always loved the name Willow, but I wasn't really willing to go with the name Willow. I wasn't like that keen on like feeling like she was just a willow like on her own. So I kind of was into the idea of the middle name Willow. And then when I put Olivia and Willow together, like me and Hubs were just having a conversation, the second that I said Olivia Willow, I just had this like moment, like this epiphany, it was just like light bulb went off, angels started singing. I'm like, that's her name. I know it. I know that's absolutely 110% her name. And that's pretty much the story as to why I came up with her name. I loved as well that Olivia Willow was just like a full-blown nature name. So the meaning of Olivia is actually olive trees. Willow is obviously a willow tree. I also decided to write down some things that I didn't actually fully know about her name, actually up until this point, but it just suits her to a T. So Olivia also symbolizes peace, and the olive tree is a symbol of fruitfulness, beauty, dignity, and the olive branch traditionally signifies the offer of peace. As soon as I started feeling her move around in me and like see how active and kind of tumble-turny she was, I realized that she was kind of a big personality, and I really felt like she was going to suit an O name. And O's just usually stand for like really outgoing, outstanding personality types, I kind of feel like, so that's why else I really liked it. But I also liked Olivia because it's a nature name, but it also is like a classic, timeless name. Like I don't really feel like no matter how popular it is, especially at the moment, I feel like it's one of those names that is just classic and timeless and is always going to sound pretty no matter how much you hear it. I also wanted to go over their nicknames. So Olivia's is pretty straightforward. Her nickname is Olive. We think it's just kind of a quicker way. It's usually when we want her attention really fast, or if we're at the park, we will usually just go with Olive because it's just faster. It's only got one syllable, and I think she actually really suits the nickname. I think it's a really like cute, kind of childish, spunkier kind of name compared to Olivia, so it's kind of like a nice childhood nickname. Not that Olive isn't great for an adult, but I don't know, it's just kind of a little bit more quirky than Olivia. Alright, now on to little Miss Leia, who I don't really feel like has ever gotten like fair explanation behind her name. So with Leia, I had no idea what I was going to name her. I kind of unintentionally decided to wait until the birth. I had like one name, which I will tell you guys in another video. It's going to be called like what I almost named my kids. She even had this name for like an hour while she was born, and we never really properly talked about it. So I kind of had an idea what her name was going to be, but I had like a list, when she was born in case it didn't fit. And I kind of had this feeling that the name I had chosen for her didn't fit. But there was actually one day while I was at the park, I had actually just listened to one of my favorite kind of spiritual teachers online. I still follow her to this day. She's pretty amazing. And her name was Leia. And then I kind of thought about it. I was like, that's actually a really sweet kind of like, also very classic and very like soft sounding name. So I kind of thought about it for like maybe a day, and then I decided to put it on the list. And then when hubby saw it, he said that he liked the name, but like neither of us were like totally sold on the name until Leia was born, basically. So she was going around with a different name for about an hour or so, and then hubby came in while I was nursing her, and he goes, I don't think that's her name. Like, I just really don't think it is. And we both kind of looked at her, and I was like, I think you're right. And then he goes, I think she's a Leia. And then I was like, it just felt right. We both looked at her, and she just had this like very sweet sort of, even kind of otherworldly look to her, and she just looked very like kind of dreamy, and I just kind of feel like that name, yeah, it just suited her like 100% at that moment, and still does to this day. And there's two meanings to Leia, and I prefer to go with one over another one, but I will go ahead and tell you both. So my favorite meaning for Leia is the Celtic meaning, which means light of the sun. She is very, very bright, cheery, very peaceful, happy little girl, always has been. But when she turned into a toddler, we started seeing kind of different sides of Leia as well. She's probably our most like, she has very, very heavy emotions, and her star sign is actually Gemini. So that probably explains a little bit. I'm kind of into astrology. I know not everyone is, but I kind of think there's some stock in it. But it goes along with the Hebrew meaning, which means tired or weary, which she can be both quite weary sometimes, and she is our best sleeper out of all the children. Leia's middle name. Wow, that was a process. I think it took me like 3 or 4 days until we actually had her full name like sent to the city. I was having such a hard time with the middle name. I loved the name Leia, but I was really struggling with a lot of nature names because I knew I wanted a nature name for the middle name that kind of flowed with it. I was pretty close to Rose, but it just wasn't really feeling right. Ruby sounded really nice to me, but I just felt like it was probably gonna be weird in Germany, which it kind of ended up being. Every time a German hears her middle name, they don't really know what that means. They're like, Ruby? So that is the whole meaning behind Leia. And then her middle name, or not her middle name, sorry, her nickname is Leia. And I'm not really even sure where this came from. All I know is that she's just really cute and small, so I guess I decided to call her a bug. And also in my side of the family, there's 2 family members who have L names. There's Lainey and Lonnie, and I don't know if it's because they have L names that I just decided to start calling her Leia Bug, but they were always called Lonnie Bug and Lainey Bug, and I don't know if that has something to do with it because it was kind of subconscious thing. I'm not really fully aware of why I started calling her Leia Bug, but she's Leia Bug. All right, now on to my son, Darian River. So the story goes, I wanted to have a very similar approach that I had with Leia. I wanted to have a list of names and then just see what felt right when he or she was there. I had no idea if he was a boy or a girl. Well, I kind of had a strong feeling he was a boy, but I didn't know for sure. So I was just like, I just want to wait, and I brainstormed so many names. If you follow me on Instagram, you guys were there through the whole process of being like, what do you think of this name? Because I was kind of into more unique names at this point. Like, I really wanted something super unique and maybe even like really naturey and out there. So suddenly I started getting this sort of weird obsession with D names. I just had a strong feeling that this baby wanted a D for the name. Like, I do feel like the children do like kind of, they do have an impact on the name that you choose spiritually. I really do think that they swayed you into choosing a name for them. So I was really, really feeling the letter D, and I came across Darian, and I also heard one of my friends say it when we were talking about baby names on the phone. And then when I heard it, I was like, oh, I really like that. And then I'm a Sailor Moon fan when I was a kid, and Tuxedo Mask was like all that, as you know, and his name was Darian. And I was like, I really, really like that name. As a matter of fact, I was pretty sure when I heard it that that was his name, and I told it to my husband, and he's like, I like it, but he wasn't like overly excited about it. He's like, but I like it. So I just kind of secretly throughout the pregnancy would even kind of refer to the baby as Darian, On screen, as you guys know, his in utero nickname was Alien, which rhymes, by the way. But while he was in uterus, like in my mind, when I would think of him, his name was Darian. I was pretty sure it was his name. And then when he was born, it was within like the first 5 minutes he was born, I was like, he's Darian. And I absolutely love his name, and it means gift, and he is our first boy, which is such a gift because we don't know if he was going to be our last. But of course, all children are absolute gifts and blessings. It just felt really, really exciting to like find out he was a boy, and he was like a surprise. He was like a really painful surprise that I got to unwrap. And then for his middle name, I knew this was going to be my son's middle name for a long time. River, it just always stood out to me since like I was pregnant with Olivia. I was pretty sure that my son was going to have this middle name, but I didn't realize that there was going to be quite as much symbolism as there is actually, and my midwife even said it. My birth of him started with my waters breaking. There was like a full river coming when I woke up in the morning. So there's the symbolism there. He's about as close to I got to a water birth, and he's very fast paced and ever changing. So it definitely suits him quite a bit. And as for nicknames for him, we don't really have a nickname. We usually just call him Darian, and it just suits him 110%. I can't actually think of if there's anything else we call him. Oh, sometimes I call him doo-doo, but I don't really know why. Not like poop. It's just like this weird, like, instinct. I just come in and I go, hi, doo-doo. And I know it sounds terrible in retrospect now. I don't know why I do that. It's just like a weird thing. He likes it though. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this weird video. And I'm going to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to follow me over on Instagram. I have a new workout up. It's arms and abs, like all upper body. I've been putting all of my workouts on there for you guys to write down and then do yourselves. And then I show you how it's done and stuff. It's just kind of motivating and inspiring, I hope. So yeah, go check that out if you want. I'm about to lose my voice again anyway, so I will see you guys next time.